This WAFLW live stream is brought to you by Optus, proud partner of the Waffle and WAFLW. The West Coast Eagles, supporting WA female footballers to follow their dreams. Kia, proud partner of the WAFLW. This is Kia. Simply Energy, supporting WA Footy's talent pathway.
Welcome to Eliteable Oval for the clash between the Subiaco Lions and the East Fremantle Sharks in a replay of round 9, which of course was postponed due to a little COVID break here in WA. It's a match that's very important to East Fremantle. They can win this game and stay in touch with the four. Of course, Subiaco get a chance to slam the door. I don't think it's slammed totally shut, but certainly just to make it very difficult for East Fremantle to make the four. So a very important game today. Some couple of ins from the side. We'll be able to talk you through those things. We've got a couple of very special guests in the box today, so we'll be able to talk about these players quite intimately. But this is a very important clash, the replay. Very important that basically the team that wins will be very happy that it was replayed. The team that loses will be under the pump in season 2021 with a couple of rounds to go. East Fremantle are desperate to stay in touch. Subiaco desperate to close the door on their long-time rival, both through the WAFLW and the WAFL, the WA Women's Football League, which was the precursor to this competition, of course. 30 years strong when it was handed over, but we'll be back to we'll return to Eliteable Oval just to have a look at the teams and get ready and introduce to our special guests after these messages.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple. Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
3, 1, go!
Back here at Eliteable Oval, ready to introduce our panel and talk about this week's ins and outs. Of course, AFLW players have been sprinkled throughout this competition as they return from their mandated break from their duties. There's a couple of champs out there today for both sides. Subiaco, of course, a game clear, as we said before. East Fremantle need to win to stay in touch. East Fremantle have got Claremont and Swans the next couple of matches too, so this is a really must-win game. It gets no easier, of course, for Subiaco. They do have to take a couple of wins on the way in. But sitting here with me, I've got Jen Wallace. Welcome, Jen.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And Jen's just come off the track. She's been the runner for the Resi side. She would have been pretty busy, I imagine.
It was a little bit, got hectic at the end there, unfortunately. Some injuries really copped Subi Resis, and so it got a bit crazy at the end, unfortunately.
What are you looking forward to today?
I think from the perspective of the game that you've set up, these two teams are the teams. They're playing finals footy every game now, trying to get into that fourth spot. And I think we're going to see that intensity come into it. for the entirety of today. Both teams trying to surge the ball forward, find that open space, and be the team that's defensive unit is the winner. Perfect
day for footy too. 20. Well, we're just looking through the teams now. We can see a couple of ins there. Very excited to see B. Devlin back, and of course the Tia Toth, Nee Haynes at half forward. So a couple of really good players there. Anyone that stands out to you that you would like to see drive this game forward?
Well, I think Devlin, you just touched on, so she's come back from a fairly lengthy break with a concussion, and she's just starting to get the good run in her legs, and we know she's got a good long kick as well. WAFLW is someone who's celebrating a milestone game. She came off a fantastic game last week and did a couple of really good things in the back 5 minutes that got Subi the win last week, so that's probably a couple of players for mine.
We nearly had her sister in the box, Leah Filacamo too, back playing footy after that terrible broken leg in 2020. We've got Ella Riley here, sister of Chloe Riley, who'll be taking the field today, and also the Youthies captain. How are you going today, Ella?
I'm good, thank you for having me.
Ella's on debut, so she's going to provide some insight into some of these players that we don't usually see. So we've got someone from inside Subiaco Sanctum. We've also got someone inside the East Fremantle Sanctum, so we should get some stories today from these two. Here's the East Fremantle team lineup. Maddie Ross has had a good season. Steph Spark bobbed up and kicks a couple of goals each, kicks a couple of goals each time she plays footy. Been really well led in the midfield by Inglis Hodge. She's a much improved player over the last couple of years, and I've liked McLennan a lot too. Versace's been good. She's gone to fullback. She's usually famous for running around at half forward. So who do you like there, Ella?
In the back line, P. Prentice had an awesome game last week, her debut. So we'll see what impact she has. And then Versace and O'Donnell in the back line should keep them strong.
And of course, sister is kicking goals again for East Fremantle. Chloe Riley, one of the players I like to watch play football because she strikes the ball so well. Just on your screen there, a couple of players quite famous, or one in particular quite famous around the traps in Sharon Wong, who knocks up getting the footy each week. Inglis Hodge in there too. It looks like Georgia Bett is going into the midfield as well. So young player, still qualified to play Youthies. Simon Quayle starting to throw his players around. This quarter, thankfully brought to us by Kia. Front row screens with you here for the WAFLW broadcast match. Just about to start. See Steph Spark and Jamie Harkin, full forward and full back respectively. Harkin's been very good since being moved to defence for Subiaco sometime last year. First ruck tap to McLennan. No clean winner off the ground. No surprise to see Inglis Hodge and Lara Filacamo battling in hard for the ball. So Blackmore in there too.
Blackmore's been good at getting into space in the last couple of weeks for Subiaco, so look out for her finding space.
Straight through the front doors. Filacamo, a long deep kick is okay. It's picked up straight away by East Fremantle and cleared wide to the wing. First to get there will be Subiaco. Arriving pretty quick behind her is Maddie Ross, and I think both of these players will be looking to get it out, but no, Maddie Ross keeps it in. Back to her skipper in Gomes, who kicks the ball around the corner. Riley spoke about her. She's escorted over the boundary line by Claire Ortlett, who gets the free kick for the ball, no touch. So 150 game celebrant today. Fantastic player for Subiaco over a long, long period of time. 10 years at the club, I think.
Yeah, long-time servant and really experienced, and another player that gives back as well, coaches down through the Rogers pathway.
Always keen to give back. That's call it going forward for Subiaco. The intercept mark is very good in the back pocket. Ball in the hands of East Fremantle player at the moment. The kick is not one that she'll like to see back on the vision, and Inglis Hodge steps into a massive tackle. There's a huge head clash there. Meanwhile, the ball's flying forward in the box seat, and taking the mark directly in front is Hunt. Strong forward craft, just took that front spot behind the play. Very ginger players. Is that Toth? Just got collected behind the ball. As Kate Inglis Hodge, blind turn. Inglis Hodge is okay.
Hunt had the week off last week, just resting a sort of recurring foot issue. So she'll be keen to slot this through and get the momentum started for Subi.
And a solid full forward. Kicks on its way. Watching her reaction. She doesn't tip over. She just does the, well, we always talk about the Mario Kart tip over Ella. Trying to steer that cart around the corner, and you could see the Hunt wasn't happy with that kick as she tried to tip it in the hands of Versace. Seen Hunt a couple of times. Quite a crafty forward. Versace plays on to the far side of Leadville Oval, carries the pack. Ritchie first to recover, good below her knees. Clean hands. Wong with Filacamo. That'll be an interesting battle today. Thorogood behind the ball. Steps inside Ross. Ross is always a good tackler. Jamie Harkin just puts on the afterburners and just connects ahead, or attempts to connect ahead of the ball to Foley. Foley just threw her hand. She's got some time now. These Fremantle defenders don't know whether to come at her or not. The ball's in the pocket. Should be an interesting kick from here. Numbers are with East Fremantle. Always forget how far away from the action we are up here. And how that I haven't really invested in the most expensive binocs possible. Call it. Been okay early. She gets a little connect with Darrick. This is Abby Darrick. Working her way into form across this season. Very important player for Subiaco. The kicks finds the space at the back. First to recover, be racing. Angelique comes back through the traffic. Handball to O'Donnell. Inglis Hodge. The perimeter's been set up well by Subiaco. It's in the hands of Thorogood again. Long ball in. Versace flies on the ground level. Small forwards for Subiaco go to work. East Fremantle good enough to exit again. Riley's worked up from half forward. Pulls the ball around the corner. Generally gets 10 or 15 more metres than most people expect her to get. It's been okay by Dalton. Misses Ross. Ross on her toes to Wong. Nice overlap play. Forward 50 entry for the first time. A little tug on Walsh's jumper. Unwhistled. She's searching for the football. Walker, meanwhile, gets the ball down to Ortlett. You see Maggie McLaughlin flash past in her sunnies as the runner. She's fallen into the back, unfortunately. The Subiaco player in Birchall. Young midfielder. Georgia Bett get the result of a free kick. Versace's run past this from fullback. Just trying to show Simon Crowell that she can still play forward. Good spore from behind from Riley. Disciplined forward. Falling forward in an attempt to catch Filacamo out was that player in Riley. The ball's been under that pack for a long time. The umpire's not satisfied with the attempt to move that forward. Ross is doing what her coach wanted, of course, is locking that ball inside forward 50. Ortlett connects further ahead of field to Foley. Foley, Garlic-style kick. Misses her intended target in Wilkins. First back's McLennan. Wilkins works her off the footy. Time and space now for Subiaco. This is in the hands of Hyder. If Hyder can gather and clean up, the 15-year-old flashes past in racing. Untidy handball trying to find Poxidio. To check my pronunciation.
Yep, that's right.
Pretty close. So yep. I was going to have to check that with you, Jen. Haven't seen Poxidio play yet. Although she's got the ball in her hands again. She's going to be kicking from the top of 50. She actually manages to miss the whole box and dice. End-to-end stuff. Jen?
Yeah, but a good chance there for Subiaco. That ball just didn't sit up for Hyder as she was streaming forward. And then, as you said, she didn't connect that releasing handball into Posidio's path, put it behind her.
Short throw in. Great ruck work from Richie. It looks to be tunnelling in there. Devlin gets her first look at it. Almost nutmegs herself. And what's to be expected usually is a big pile on in the defensive 50. Clinton again. Busy ruckman for East Fremantle. Loose ball. Wong stands still. She's wrapped up safely. We'll have another repeat stoppage.
Just an arm wrestle so far.
Both teams prepared to move the ball quickly. It's good to watch. Filacamo pulls the ball to the top of the square. Versace in the box seat, putting a lot of pressure on her. Was the Subiaco forwards, which was good. Trying to clear now the Sharks to Ross. Looks like Thorogood's got a job on her today. It's been very important for East Fremantle, Ross. Ball bouncing around outside 50. Arm wrestle's a good call, I reckon. I do like the way they're moving the footy, though.
Yeah, both teams are trying to get it forward, which I always prefer from a spectator's perspective. See positive footy. And in good news for Subiaco, I can see Toth has come back to the interchange race after going off early. We're sort of following whether that was an injury.
It's almost one of the league's favourite players, isn't she, Toth? Worked her way back from a couple of serious injuries. Ended up on Fremantle's list, and I'm almost sure she played every game. As Rayson thumps the ball forward for Sharks. Riley's asked to stand under this. She does okay. Nadia Brown finds a loose ball. She's quick. She takes a bit of space from Harkin. She runs a full distance. The kick's okay to Walsh. Can Walsh read it? Good defence from behind. Is that Walker? Caitlin Walker's been doing this for a number of years. She gives the ball to Harkin, and Harkin composes herself, although Chloe Riley gets a hand in there. Dalton tries to work through on the hip. Caitlin Walker was strong enough to stop that working. Nadia Brown dives in now. It's Dalton on the ground, trying to merge with it. Subiaco doing the right thing there. Wong, though, she finds the end of this. Little tumble kick forward. Subiaco generally good in this situation. Worked the handball out to Thorogood, who's worked down to help out as a winger. Looking to release, and it's Dalton over her head. Taking a nice mark. Stephanie Dalton. She's a nice kick of the football. She should be able to find Walsh deep with this. It's a good ball. That'll favour Subiaco. Walsh doesn't quite clunk this mark, and Subiaco try to work it again. They go corridor. The ball is now at the top of 50. That is probably not the plan. Sharon Wong, has she got the distance in her leg? She has. She swoops on this left footer and puts it through for the first goal of the match. And it's the East Fremantle Sharks with Sharon Wong, a rare one.
I think Wong early, I just wrote here, little bit seems to get in really good positions and gets dangerous, and she just capitalised that for me just then. McIntosh it was for Subiaco that just went corridor and didn't execute. And if you're going to go corridor in that dangerous, only 20 out from goal, you can pay for it, can't you? Maybe needed to come the other way.
Yeah, players tend to keep the ball alive in defence and then go to the boards, the boundary line in the attacking line. It's a coach killer. How many goals? Is Wongy favours for her goals out of the Sharks way, Ella?
No, but she always gets them when needed.
That's a very good comment. Very mature from the skipper of the Rogers Cup team at the Sharks as McLennan and Richie go at it again. McLennan pulls it out of the ruck, can't quite dispose of it. Little toe poke's okay. Toth up and about. Well, she's immediately in the grip of Fidel. Back feed's good. Kick around the corner wasn't. Filacamo picked the pocket. She goes forward, but Versace on a searching lead as a defender is able to intercept in front of Wilkins. Wilkins wanted a little deeper. Versace's clearing, kicks okay, finds a bit of space in front of Kakamo. Kakamo releases the runner in Sanders. Sanders' little handball looking for Brown's a beautiful bounce, and Brown's able to get this ball away, but she kicks it into Jamie Harkin's hands. Harkin's going to be hard to trap here. She doesn't get rid of that. Umpire on the wrong side. Brown's kick forward's okay. That's actually Fidel, not Brown. My apologies. Maddie Ross working hard in the forward pocket. She is set upon by Subiaco defenders. And her opponent, her direct opponent, looks to be today Thorogood. Always want to call her Georgia Thorogood, but of course it's Taylor. Fidel got busy there. She's doing a fair Nadia Brown impression as well. Richie working hard into defence is okay to Ortlap. Ever cool Ortlap. Spark can't take the catch. It's shoved over the line with great discipline by Corlett, who's been busy early.
She has seen a fair bit of ball early in this quarter. Corlett down this commentary side wing. East Freo, when they've gotten in this position, they've definitely looked like they've got some outnumber opportunities.
Long throw in. Carries both the rucks, no influence. Down to the Rovers now. Burrowing away. Cortland again inside outboard handball. Well read by Ross, and Ross pulls the board. The ball is favouring Rosie Walsh, who takes a good catch in front of her face under good pressure from Caitlin Walker. She could be anything, this kid. Rosie Walsh. Usually a good kick of the footy and a neat mark there.
Great delivery from Ross, and then a strong mark out in front of her face. Is she known for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been trying to get her in trainings, delivery to her. That's our aim. Send it into her for her marks.
Rosie Walsh is just a little careful with this one, and she pokes it last minute. That won't affect her overall goal shooting. Sorry, Ella, keep going with that one.
Yeah, so at training we're trying to send it deep to her for her to take a mark, and if not, we've got our small forwards coming in.
I think she is good. She's good in front of her face. She's good overhead. She's okay on the contested ball. Sanders worked that mark beautifully, and subsequent pressure to Dowrick has allowed McLennan to mark. The switch is on in the middle now with Inglis Hodge. The double switch. She does find Prentice at Sky. Prentice applies a tackle eventually after just spilling the mark. Trying to spill that ball through. Subiaco desperate in there to tie this up. Well done.
Walters read that well. There was 3 blue to the 1 maroon of Subi then, and she managed to bring that ball down for the stoppage.
Also impressive how quickly Subiaco got to help her. Ball bounces around the centre of the ground again. That player Walters chops the ball forward by foot. Rolls about 8 metres before we get another stoppage.
With the bright red hair, what do you think her nickname would be?
Hopefully not sauce.
It is sauce. Of course it is. We're not that creative.
It's too easy, that one. Yeah, Rosella might be a better name. I don't know.
Bluey.
Bluey, yep. Always been a fan of that one. It's a bit of an olden days one, isn't it? You don't hear as much anymore. The ball's in the hands of Gomes and tackling her strongly. The Subiaco midfielders last to get up. They're in Birchall. In the ruck now is Hyder for Subi. Did pretty well there. The follow-up work was impressive as well. Took the ruck and then was able to snavel the rover in a tackle. Working out of her weight class. Very clever. Race on, very strong player. Basketball background. This ball in the air towards Hunt. She does a disciplined thing and fist that forward. Pressure now for East Fremantle under this pack. Number of players. The ball tries. It nearly comes out through Foley. I think the umpire do well here to give the girls a little bit of a break. See if we can't get some balance at this stoppage. Racing again, very strong, as we said. I think she's 15-year-old basketball from the Wilton Basketball Club. Very talented young player at a couple of different sports, like so many of these ladies are. Representing the stadium in a couple of different games. Of course, she's in the WAFL 17s program as well. A busy young lady. There's a wonderful tackle from front on from Jess Ritchie. She's added a couple of strings to her game, I think, over the last couple of years, and physical pressure's won. Racing again. B. Hyder. I think you mentioned an arm wrestle earlier, Jen.
Yeah. Well, Hyder's having to step in as the second ruck today. Rust, a player, out. Unfortunate head knock during training this week, and she's usually the one that comes in when Richie's resting.
Birchall, wonderful back feed to Ortlep, who's worked up from half-back. We had Ortlep in the box, just in case Jen didn't make it up in time. It's a wonderful tackle too, and that ball spilled out. Young player there, and Georgia Bet able to hold Foley up.
That's great defence from East Freo, the way they pressured Foley, her decision making. You could see she wasn't sure where to go, and it ended up coming back to her.
Disciplined kick by Ortlep, underrepresented under that footy was Subiaco. One-step kick from Prentice really opens the goals up for Subiaco a little bit here. Versace shoved off the ball fairly. Wingers go at it through Cowie's hands to Ortlep, who just goes underneath the tackle, spits the ball out towards Cowie, who's bundled onto the ground by Maddie Ross. And we've progressed from an arm wrestle to a full-blown body wrestle. There's 2 minutes 30 seconds left. East Fremantle with 7 points from 2 shots, and Subiaco Footy Club, despite dominating forward 50 entry and probably game in forward half, just managed the 1 point. Assume the umpires are going to pick a free kick out here shortly. I don't like balling the ball up too often in a row. Taken out of the ruckers, racing. That's the umpy's chance. No. Spits through to Ross. Right on the bullseyes. We've got another stoppage. That's an interesting place to play footy in July, because that'd be both. That'd all be cake with mud now. Just gets the best of the conditions. The WAFLW. Filacamo looking for a neat connect. O'Donnell does enough to get her opponent off the footy, and the loose ball's connected by Versace. Accidental bump from Blackmore. Just took her eye off things there and accidentally took Versace out. Nadia Brown trying to get around Ortlep. That's many players have tried that and found it very difficult at different times to Wong. Filacamo takes her off her feet. Good body work. It's in the hands of Wong again. Ball forward. There's 3 Subiaco players. Harkin puts her body where the ball was, and Kakamo wasn't able to do anything. Steph Sparks, usually clever around goals, pulls this back towards Kakamo. Maddie Ross as well. It's building nicely for the Sharks. Subia arriving. Maddie Ross. It's Claire Ortlep arrives. The goal-saving tackle to the 150 gamer. She's a player that can go to 250. Still a young player. I think improving every season. Dow defender. Creative at times. Jess Ritchie strong overhead. That's a good sign for Subiaco. Just assesses her options now.
Just need to be smart down the use of the ball. That's probably not the kick they wanted.
It's good instinctive play from Chloe Riley. Played on to sort of create Cowie too strong. And a call in the box for just a bit of composed play. Cowie attempts that to Toth, crashing in Wong. Now, Toth steps her in the end, tries to connect further ahead of field. That's Brown she's looking for, but it's intercepted by East Fremantle.
Giving Freo a look here. He must be getting
quiet in the box here as East Fremantle build the twin sisters with the now. Chloe Riley overrunning, that was Pred to speed. And the quarter from here. Very, very big wrestle across the whole of the ground. Both teams will move the foot. East Fremantle with the lead at after Subiaco, I think, led. Oh, I reckon they led time in forward half.
I think so. I think that in the entries into the 50, I think they all can target more. You can tell that they are targeting well. I started to speak about and their opportunity managed to go through once with the goal, but Subi they've had more time in forward half, but not as composed. A little bit more football is maybe just some good pressure from East Freo.
Yeah, a lot of goals in really getting the deep entries where they kick their goals.
Okay, because some expert comments from both Jen Wallace and Ella Riley. Go off to a break and make sure we recognise the groups of people that make this possible, including Kia, who brought quarter one to you. We'll be back for the after we hear from the people. Possible.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple. Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
Level Oval, where the Lions lead at home against the Sharks. A must-win for both teams, more so for the East Fremantle Sharks, considering they've got Claremont and the Swan Districts football clubs next, which will both provide them with a handful as they try to stay in touch with the for a moment there. I'm lucky enough to be in the box with Jen Wallace, who played Australia, New South, and most importantly Western Australia. She also Subiaco Footy Club working with the program. Jen, what have you liked so far?
From a Subiaco perspective, call it throughout that first quarter. Got a lot of touches on the ball. She seems to be, when it came our grandstand, we quite become the quarter the way she finished last quarter 4. She's been busy in and under at the stoppages. She's an important person for Subi. All that's good at the back, and obviously just full of the back line. And then for East Freo, I think Ross has been really good for them. Wong's dangerous and quick and getting into positions, and it does seem, like I said before, that while target one good spray, I think she's going to be a dangerous target up for.
In backline, I agree. I feel like Edo, strong player. She's got a few clearing, and I feel like Subiaco, they're very in the contest. Sorry, my bad. They just need to slow it down when moving forward, and they'll be in a game.
Brilliant, Angelique. Name is Toast, so we've christened her the Crust. She's a nice, strong player. What's happened now, I guess, in terms of East Fremantle, in terms of the composure?
Yeah, I think they need to continue the composure they've shown, and if anything for them, it's maybe a couple more inside 50s, so just transitioning to more looks than they did in the first quarter. But generally, I think they'd be quite happy with their ability to have absorbed the pressure that Subi put them under with continued inside 50s and then come back and put something on the score. So I actually think they're probably sitting there going, just more of that intensity to give ourselves more.
What's Michael Farmer saying to Subiaco at the moment?
Probably to slow it down. They've got time. Send it in.
Send it in.
Yeah. Keep the shot.
Michael Farmer is saying we've had heaps of the free. We are dominating inside 50s. We just haven't got enough shots because we're a little shallow. And I think he'll be really impressed with the way the players dominated field position. What's going to happen? Get those repeat entries. Eventually get a slung shot out the back.
Yep. And I think that's the important thing for Subiaco to remember is that their game is based on possession, moving it quickly, giving themselves lots of looks. Yes, we sort of can sit up here up higher and go, clean a look, maybe inside 50s, but it's sort of, you can toss that either way, can't you? So I think they'll be sort of saying to each other, stay calm. It's a 6-point game currently. Let's play this second quarter out and see who can head into the halftime big break with maybe a big break in the points as well.
East Fremantle proved last week they can score quickly. Very capable of quickly as well. Gets the ball one direction, or in their direction, obviously. With Abby Darrick, it'll be very dangerous. Set up for a shoot from here. McLennan, Cleveland from Richie, Subiaco. Roved by East Fremantle and straight into the hands of the tacklers. And we're going to have another turn on the bullseye. 25 at the moment, just outside. Not the full 50. Richie again working hard. To the ground. And then pick up by two.
Contest between McClelland and Richie's going to, I think, entertain us all day.
Yeah, evenly matched, aren't they? Both very athletic around the ground. It's followed by Prentice. And then she is absolutely set. Umpires really let it, giving the players a chance to get this out, but always find those slow whistles just tend to bottle play up. A lot of numbers around this ball now. Beautiful tap on McLennan. Found by Inglis Hodge. Wong dragged at it. The umpire does pick that one up. Feel like really run. Worked really hard to do the body work. Players demanding the ball ahead of field. Or hit. The player. Nick. Oh, that's not directional. My apologies. It's clear to the far side. I think that was thorough good. Wrong. Around the body there's Burton. Burton's going to get a second crack at it. Knee heavily strapped. Richie sees the ball over the line.
Emily Burton's just come back from a knee injury. Reserves game, and we're looking to see her impact.
Looks to be playing. In no hurry, the band. This young man, wonderful throw. The rucks get great service. McLennan again. Blackmore for the Carmo. Searching for Thorogood. Chopped off by Ross. Thorogood, wonderful to Hoss. Thorogood's a for a number of years. Goes under the radar a little bit when you look at the players like the Carmo. Walker to slip up. Going back in through Walsh. Pretty good on the ground usually. Tries to feed it to Brown. Gives it to Wong, who's picked off with a good tackle. No pride. Again from the...
It's like Thorogood's been given the job of shutting after the first quarter. That looks like the matchup that Farmer's gone with. She often gets that job of, it's not quite tagging, but you to take accountability for a key player in the opposition.
Working off her body, and she looks to be working off Ross, doesn't she?
Yep.
Back of English here was Derek. It's a bit too far out for Hodge. Hodge missed it. Up to Walsh. Back was that Nadia Brown. She kicks a goal. Well roved. She's a speedy little player. And it was Nadia Brown. Next Mike. Why aren't you watching? And gets one out from a long kick here from Inglis Hodge. Testing. A little loose behind there perhaps. Great
information to be aware of the length of the kick. To have someone stay down instead of everyone going up into the contest. By staying down, the ball fell over the back and able to capitalise on it. So it's a great technique.
Really fast feet.
Yeah, but if she went into that contest and jumped up, then the opportunity's not there. I think that's really clever play and something that they'd be looking at going, how was she free?
Only play for themselves to go behind in the second. Ish from half forward line. Subiaco's half forward line. That is a good defence kick. McLennan was strong at the ground again. Hand on her. She's dragged down after. Picking her off or trying to was back. McLennan handballs into the dirt. Now player Fidel, who had no room to work. In fact, I reckon she was already in the cuddle before she got the ball. Edging the ball forward, far enough to the congestion. Good set in front of the travel here. Richie working knees. O'Donnell in the Devlin. Held so far, Devlin. She doesn't need a whole lot of time base to do. Her athletic ability out of the pulls it out of the air and thump forward. Starts her front nearly. She hold. She'll for a kick. Wilkins just trying to work for front. Kick doesn't carry to Wong. Wong's little shin suits her. Towards the centre of the ground. Brown takes off. Ortlet stays back and has a good read. Trying to come through Riley. Riley up and strong. A lot of core work. Sister.
Trying to and sticking tackles as well.
Wrap her up. You've said no. You haven't said no. She doesn't do core work. You've said that she doesn't work.
Yeah, she has been working on core.
She's a good kick of the footy. We want our players to have strength. Another stoppage. Fierce. That'll be relatively new Georgia Bet. She's in another big cuddle from Jessica Ritchie. It's redeemed for hold. Umpires move the game on. Fumble. Toff. Pitches look wonderful. Very happy couple.
Jackie.
You can see her.
That had a brilliant game, actually. I think they'd be looking to convince her to play full time.
Still good enough. Some horrible injuries a couple of years ago. A number of them stacked on each other too. Started takes a good breaks on the fast. Loops back into the middle. Perhaps cluttering things a little bit. Good read. All in contest, trying to work out there the Shark pressure. Games. The line Toth work. It's English tackling Harden. Harden's way and has to try and shift her off the footy. Walters. Was called. I've done enough with it. It's actually one of those calls that probably was touched. See that from Pud. On the jumper from Ritchie. The hands of McLennan. Last year. the flyer across the front to Dalton. Right at the back. Usually a good user. It's good. Walsh gets this off the 30 metres. Back. Taps it towards Blackmore and Sanders. Was initially wanting the line, but realised it was too far away. Be very professional. Tips it over.
Through there for East Freo. Just didn't quite nail the 50.
Caitlin Walker was very good there to come off.
Just read.
Pretty chopped up little interchange area. Grasses quite often need to be replaced here at Leadable. Two teams here, and two clubs, Subiaco and East Perth. Clennon through good pressure from top. Eventually, first place, but taken. Not underrated. She gives this to McIntosh. Good roll. Ball in her hand. Of a surprise. It come through a couple of Sharks. Pulled off the footy. Yeah, Kakama. Tots up and going. Blackmore looks sore behind the ball. Clever mark.
He's going to hold up play now. Trainer first goes out to a Blackmore, but she hasn't been able to get any weight or anything. She's just at the mercy of the ball going back over her head. Doesn't look good, does it? Where they just sort of get their knees stuck, maybe twisted. It's not good news.
Fingers crossed. Ankle. Blackmore. Owned the wing at different over the last couple of years. Sachi. Passes the working hard. Rosson now on the ground. Up behind the play.
Trying a bit wide.
Birchall.
She has it on wing.
Got it straight away. Is it to Sanders? Sanders. Plenty of players. Really clear. Back, popping that off to Richie. Done a job as a ruck today. This kick test is really kicks okay. This up. Walker will be the first there, and she had what happened planned. I think from the moment she took off of that, she wanted that out of bounds.
Walker, she seems to be posed in situations. And the defensive unit for Subiaco throughout the year has been the thing that clicked first. And Walker's been a really big part of that.
Who just the backs for Subiaco? That makes sense. Georgia Thorogood have finally done it. Taylor Thorogood, it's a beautiful kick. McIntosh, did you use that differently?
McIntosh.
Looking for Walter. Arthur Brown. This is Talisha Brown. She's inside the handball. Okay. One's Walters. By all kinds of East Fremantle Sharks, including Burton, who's tackled today so far. Thorogood. Get Ross another stoppage. Free. Covered. Ball Jen. It's defensively on the wings here. Subiaco.
It's a key part. You can be given a responsibility play, even if you're not on them, and someone else is, you can't take accountability to know that person really has to do your job.
Behind the footy to provide a bit of, I reckon, some attacking rebound as well. Walsh and Walker check out. Let a drink of water. This is inside out. For the car. This kick should favour Subiaco. Can't see that far. It's not just like all it is Subiaco. Love this ball. Wood. Maybe 1 or 2 inside 50. Still dominating possession. Anyway. I don't know who our effects mic's pointed at, but it's as if it's in the East Fremantle box.
It does feel that way, doesn't it? We've got the benefit of
getting some tips
of the dugout. We're talking about the phone call that's coming in.
Was that a bring? Yes, also known as the phone ringing, and it's generally the coach. And the coach is generally not always happy. So failing to answer that. Then on the end of a couple of sprays. My time in footy. On the phone. Loose ball. Gathered on the far side by Hyder. Looking a little more promising for Subiaco now. That's a nice mark overhead. Beating the runners on the far side. Steps inside is Dowrick. Dowrick gets a kick away just before one comes. It's Hunt at the back. It's a foot race. One of the apprentices it seems to be. Hunt as well. Just does really well to get this ball towards the top of 50. The gather now is okay. The tackle pressure comes. Hunt's now in the game. Even Stevens knocked off the footy well. That's Foley. Problems here for East Fremantle as Subiaco's numbers arrive. How will the umpire see this? All fair. Just for a moment, Subiaco had the outnumber.
Paisley did really well working her one-on-one and to get it all the way from in the square to the 50.
Paisley and Sky, I'm going to say they're sisters, Chloe. Is that, sorry, Ella, is that right?
Yep, sisters.
A couple of sisters at the Sharkies. What was quite amazing is this kick from Gomes is just attempted to clear, but it hasn't been touched and it goes over the line. So Subiaco probably have their biggest look so far in this quarter. Dowrick kicks the ball 47 to 52 metres. So Hunt's in the game here. She does load up. She actually attempts a barrel. It won't go so far. Versace knocks this over the line in defence. Doesn't want anything to do with the ball being behind her, Larissa Versace. Pretty impressive player at midfield, half forward or half back. Full back today it seems. Guarding Wilkins, who at times has looked very threatening. Hasn't broken out yet. Throw in, Hyder towards the top of 50. Good mark, Prentice. Too much ahead of the ball. Player started to tie. Sanders goes through her hands. It's in the hands of Walters. I think I've seen her play a couple of Rogers Cup games. Is that right, Jen?
She'd be from Resi's the last couple of years. I think she was the Player of the Year there last year, and then has been rewarded with a good start to the season in Resi's again and went up into league, holding her position on the wing. She's a tiny but mighty little critter who can run all day.
Yeah, she's certainly fleet of foot. This is in the hands of Dowrick after a bit of good work. Walters was caught holding the ball. Exiting kick. It's found its way back into 450. Good ball licking work up front from Subiaco. Kick towards a good spot. Can the ball bounce? It does. Handball over the top. Doesn't quite get there. Now it's in the hand of Walters. Walters tumble punt forward and Subia on the board. It took a long time and a lot of hard work, but it's fitting that Walters gets on the end of that. Some really good work ahead of the ball from Poxidio, and I think basically almost single-handedly forced that ball inside the forward 50.
Yeah, Poxidio was excellent then. Just really, there was a 2-on-1, strong of body, just made sure she had possession, kicked it to a dangerous area, sort of squaring it up in front of goal. Corlett, who's been really good throughout this first half, good body positioning, and again strong through a couple of tackles, managing to hold her feet and then find Walters, who could finish off the good work. That's on the back of that. Needed a reward there, I think, Sue, because I think East Freo have actually repelled them well again.
East Fremantle just seemed to be tiring a little.
Yep. That sort of that tired goal that came out of that defence of just having to defend and defend and defend in the last 5 minutes.
All back to the centre. 2-1. There's a couple of points for either side there too. Beatrice Devlin's in the middle. That's a good kick forward. Abby Dowrick trying to work Versace off the footy. Just tugged the jumper. Wanted to work the body, work the hip of Versace there to try and turn her opponent. And that foot becomes very dangerous. Play on's the call. Kick nearly charged down. Racing. Overhead. Ritchie provides the contest. Coming the other way. Devlin. A couple of kicks in a couple of seconds. Loose ball. Forward 50. East Fremantle. Prentice. Fumble. Finds itself towards Brown. She can't pick it up either. Ripped off the footy was Ritchie coming out the back. It's going to be Hunt to run to the top of the square. She kicks a second. 2 in 2 minutes. Subiaco back in it. Beatrice Devlin key.
Well, that's a huge goal. Then heading very quickly into half-time, surging it through the centre bounce. Devlin started it, kicked it forward, and just, I think, a higher intensity from Subiaco than what East Freo brought to those little contests along the way, and it just kept marching forward, and then over the back to Hunt, who did a great job to finish off and got reward for Subiaco.
Game is set up, isn't it? 2 goals, 1 to 2 goals, 1. Goals to Sharon Wong for East Fremantle. Naja Brown added one in the second quarter before Walters and Hunt have evened the ledger. That quarter was entertaining from, well, I think from start to finish, Ella.
Yeah, it was very arm wrestle from one end to the other end. Quick goals and just an arm wrestle, as you said in the first one, Jen.
Yeah, and I think just a bit of fatigue towards that probably is where Subiaco managed to get those 2 late goals, and I think I won't speak for you, I'll probably let you go through what East Freo might be talking about, but they'll probably be looking at that going, that was just fatigue in the last 5 minutes that got them those 2 goals. We've defended really well throughout the first half so far, and we've just let them get 2 red time goals.
The second quarter brought to us by Optus. Really do support the female game as the teams, East Fremantle Sharks, just come off the ground now. All smiles in both huddles, taking applause from the crowd. The game is set up to be a beauty in the third quarter. But it's Subiaco Footy Club catching up very late towards on the siren. 13 points each. Game in the balance at half-time. We're back to talk, or to break that quarter down further with Jen Wallace and Ella Riley after the break.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple. Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
Half-time at Leadville Oval. We have a good game in our hands. 2 goals, 1, 2 goals, 1. Subiaco making a late charge, getting both their goals in the last 2.5 minutes of the second quarter after East Fremantle had got out to a 2-goal lead. Well, obviously, there's some points out there as well, 1 to each side. Quarter brought to us by Optus, really looked after by our sponsors. The female program has really livened up footy, I reckon, in WA. These ladies just get better and better every single year. See Hunt there taking a catch at the front of the box. Was unable to convert that one, but got one a bit later on the run. Been some good play. I think some of the highlights have been the intercept marking so far, but I'll stop talking now because we've got Jen Wallace and Ella Riley, our experts, in the commentary box to break down what's been going on the first half of footy.
Yeah, I think the thing with Subiaco, the surge mentality of the way that they play, it came to the fore in the last 2 to 4 minutes of that half, quarter two, I should say. They kept turning up to contests, and that helps them when they get the outnumber in attack, and then obviously they can shut down when they get there in defence as well. So they just need to continue to have trust in their structure, so that then when they do surge the ball forward, the people are running into the right predictable patterns, and that's where the secret for their quarter three and quarter four is going to be. And for East Freo, Ella, I'll let you talk to them. You're the expert in that area.
I feel like they just didn't get the reward they were looking for in that quarter that they did in the first quarter. Subiaco shut down some of our key players, so we just got to be adaptable in the way we approach the ball and the way we enter the 50.
So we teased each other, Dave Lindsay, Reggie and I, a couple of weeks ago, saying nobody listens to the halftime break anyway. And we were told by Chloe Riley, my dad does, and we mentioned the Riley family, and he makes us listen to it. So this is wonderful to have Ella at halftime, because Dad does listen.
Yep.
And Chloe will be forced to hear your wrap up. So what's next for the Sharkies? What do they need to do after halftime?
Just keep the pressure up and maybe play the full 4 quarters effort, because they slacked off a bit at the end, and then Subi were getting the reward they desperately needed to enter the halftime.
One of the things about our female players is how honest they are. I like that. They slacked off. Get down there and tell Simon Quayle that he's not driving the girls hard enough. No, that's not at all. The Sharkies were very good, and Subiaco were able to catch them up. With the help of Optus, let's take a look at AFL Premiership play. Will Schofield's return to the Waffle. And it started with a yes. So we're still running the highlights package at the moment. I've gone a bit early. Sam Hunt there, the second goal, or the first of the 2 goals there, which saw it going out to live pitches on the oval. You can see a couple of little kids out there just enjoying the game. It's lovely to see at this level all the players on the oval. Some mums, dads, lots of ladies out there kicking the football, both young and not so young. With the help of Optus, as I said before, let's take a look at AFL Premiership player Will Schofield's return to the Waffle. It started with yes.
Footy for me, and then AFL, it was that middle ground where I sort of grew up a little bit, and it was why I was keen on coming back here. I really felt like that did have a lot to do with me developing not only as a footballer but as a man.
So Hawthorn have done it.
Probably took a long time to get over 2015. When you make a grand final, you think it's the best thing ever, and then when you lose it, you realise it actually could be the worst day of your life. 2015 was just a horrible day. It took almost 3 years to get back there. 2018 was life-defining for me. My best mate was killed in a bike accident. After round 1, went to the funeral in Victoria. Pretty much considered not coming back to AFL. I had my first child in June of that year, so that was a real wake-up call for me, and it was great. Fatherhood, changed me a lot. It was a huge roller coaster ride for me that year. Really feeling like my whole AFL life, it was all just gone, and I missed the opportunity. I was not going to get the opportunity to validate my work by playing in a premiership. I wanted that opportunity to, in my mind, validate my worth as a player, but as a person.
The Eagle has landed for the Premiers in 2018.
Having won, it certainly helped that, but I've definitely come to realise your value isn't what you are as a player, it's what you are as a person.
Yeah, well, really, when Scully decided to finish up playing at AFL level, I think he was lured naturally back to Peel, because this is where he played his football before he played AFL, and he felt the sense of the community down here, and he's got a young family. So from what I can understand, it was quite an easy decision for Will to come back to the club, and yeah, we're definitely thankful that we've got him.
Like sort of any player that comes out of the AFL, you're exposed to an elite level of everything really that comes with AFL. Training, diet, mentality, you name it, we've seen it at AFL level. So I guess some guys go into coaching, and not really for me. I don't really see myself as a coach, but I do like teaching, and I like leading young men.
I know he's really optimistic about the young talent that's coming through here at the club, so it's been great for him to run our emerging leaders program with our Colts and our senior emerging leaders. There's no doubt that he'll help those guys develop.
do it fortnightly. We work through everything I've learned as an AFL footballer. So it's a little bit of a masterclass for them on leadership, but really it's about being a better man and leading better as a person, understanding yourself and giving you a platform to succeed. If the guys go out and get drafted, I'll be proud, but it would be awesome to see. But if they come out and they've learned something and they're able to be a better person outside the footy club, well, I've probably played my role.
Having a joyful welcome back to Leadville Oval once again. We're looking at some live pictures on the ground, and you saw Amy Franklin on your screen out there, the power forward for Claremont. Couple of very recognisable faces out there on the ground too. Ella, who we got there?
Chloe Duckrow and Britt Gonzalez.
Been playing reserves football at East Fremantle.
Britt's just got a knee injury and Duck hurt her hand, I think.
There's that siren to say, bit of a warning for our players out on the ground. It's time for the main action to start again. We're going to head to a break before we have a look towards what's going to happen in the third quarter with our experts here, Jen Wallace and Ella Riley, with front row screens.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
3, 1, go!
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
Back in the East Fremantle huddle with front row screens. They don't dance and sing like the Swans huddle. They're very serious in there. Whoever's speaking, Inglis Hodge is agreeing, or now disagreeing.
Just active listening.
Active listening, that's right. It's Ashley Gomes that's got the instructions there as you see Subiaco enter the field of play. Maybe Derek leading there with Sam Hunt. Jessica Ritchie, who's been super today in the ruck. She's going to have to do a lot of work in the last. Probably going to have to mirror the heavy amount of work she did in the first half in the second. Exciting to see what could happen here if these teams start to roll the dice towards each other. Could end up with a six goal, 7 goal game each. I think that's on the cards. I haven't seen Blackmore return to the field of play just yet. Fingers crossed for her. Important player for Subiaco. Mentioned Charlie. You mentioned Charlie out there. Ella Riley. She is kicking the footy at half time with a number of different people. Looks like Hunt's got the call. As the Subiaco huddle's just about to break up. Claire all out leading the war cry. She's a passionate player, 150th game. It'd be nice to get a win for her.
Absolutely. And you always have that 1 to 2 players in your team that are the war cry players, aren't they? They actually thoroughly enjoy being the person that gets to scream really loud and get everyone else to try and get up. And Claire's definitely one of those.
I coach a team that had a good win yesterday, 5 goals down, and won by a point with a minute to go. And the song was sung with gusto. I think the Ortlep was probably even more gusto just then. Footy's a great game. Unfortunately, if you get too old to play, you have to start talking about it. Simply Energy, sponsoring quarter number 3, and we're away with these 2 rucks who have been super today. It's McLennan, the sweeper Toth, pops the handball over the Subiaco in the path of Felicamo. Ross goes past her. Devlin in a tackle, just held a little long by Ross. On this occasion, another player down. She's definitely holding her thigh, Versace. Devlin's long kick in, pressure for the defence. Hunt takes a catch in front of her face. Terrific. She wheels around now, going to go long to the square. I'm not sure Abby Derrick was on the same page. She wasn't. She hits the post. Subiaco have the lead.
Really strong mark from Hunt, and looks here, Ella, like a corky, I would think, to...
I'm hoping.
I hope so.
It's Versace, Larissa.
Yeah, Versace, yeah.
Jogging off a little bit now, so hopefully it is just a corky and she'll be back next week.
It would have to be a broken femur for her to stay off the ground. Larissa Versace, back feed from Wong is good to Sanders. Sanders hugs the line with a kick looking for Riley. Thorogood providing the pressure. Riley recovers well and is tackled neatly by Claire Ortlep. But one thing I love about Claire Ortlep is that was a fierce and strong tackle where every person every person was safe.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's
no slamming anyone on the ground. Her technique is excellent. She's strong. She's very professional. Richie, we've got an upset baby on the mic now downstairs as Amy Hunt comes across, taking a good mark in front. And this occasion was a player whose name I've just deleted from my sheet. It's Burton. Sorry, Emily Burton. Pushed the wrong button on the computer. Tia Toth. Handballs the ball towards the half-forward line. The ricochet, unfortunately, from the East Fremantle defender's boot, and Sanders has gone over the line. And Foley couldn't get out of the way quick enough to give this to Harkin. I think Foley's a decent kick at the footy. I don't think she needs to be evacuating. Toth takes the ball. Pressure came and missed in the end. Pulls the ball around the corners. Pretty good to O'Donnell. Puts the ball on the ground. Handball release is okay. Tumbling ball towards Felicamo. Carries over the East Fremantle defenders. Midfielders, I should say. Ortlep underneath Dalton. Ripped off the footy eventually. One umpire says you contributed. The other umpire says no, you didn't. That was the definite hold. And Ortlep has the footy. Not quite sure. They're both smiling. Toth or Ortlep. Toth I think she was thinking about a little run past handball. Ortlep. Long ball in the forward 50. A little flatter than intended, I think. Coming out to meet, it's Darrick. Having to work hard now. Clever player, long boot. Falls onto the top of this stoppage. Rolls off very well. Forward's giving that kick away. And we haven't got a count on stoppages, but geez, there's been some today.
It's a fierce contested game, isn't it? If there's any chance that the gang tackle idea comes in to really lock it in.
Both teams trying to keep it really close. Worked out well to Chloe Riley. Can't get around Harkin. Harkin rips the footy out, disposes of Riley, gets the ball towards Devlin. Nice build up. Waiting across the back, over the back, where the ball was Hyder. Taking the mark was Rayson in front. Rayson's long kick's a good one. Just about chopped off by Ortlep. It was going to fall on Riley's chest. Riley fighting hard in there. Looks like Walters applying the pressure. Felicamo lurking. Riley comes up with the footy and immediately stretches out. Forward, the tap's good from McLennan. Wong, set upon by Thorogood. She's done a couple of jobs on a number of players today, Thorogood. Harkin, strong. Tries to put it in the path of Felicamo. Goes past her towards Wilkins. Toth, Felicamo. Big body on her opponent. He's falling his footy again. Richie and Fidel at the bottom of this pack. Hit out count will be huge today. That's another one for McLennan. First on it's Felicamo. She turns very well. Pops his ball up towards Wilkins. Good by O'Donnell. Ball spills through to Amy Hunt. Amy Hunt this time to Derrick. Derrick on the page this time. It's going to be very easy, very difficult work for Burton to stop her stepping here, but she comes across the front. Puts a lot of pressure on the ball towards Subiaco's goal square. Tackling on the last line, but it's Inglis Hodge gets to pump this ball out towards the boundary line. Desperate defence from East Fremantle. Indeed, Prentice with that kick. Good clearing kick from the Sharks. Good build-up from Subi.
Really good, and then Burton was very, very good just to slow things down enough and let the numbers come through and help her out. Another dangerous inside 50 entry, you'd think, there for Subi.
The give outside to Devlin was okay. Can she do enough with the kick? She can't in any way. Burton was there to make sure that didn't skip across in the role of goalkeeper. Interestingly, Burton steps away from that footy and Hayley O'Donnell comes to grab this. This must be set play from the Sharks. What can you tell us, Ella?
They were practicing. Versace was normally our normal goal kicker. I mean, kick-outer. But in her injury, I think it's O'Goyne, if you go lay down and look at the boundary, I think Hayley's stepped in.
O'Donnell's kick in the end was a beauty. McLennan. She finds Gomes. Subiaco got numbers behind the footy now. Gomes has to go long. She goes high as well. Walters underneath this. Takes a good catch. Played the mark. She didn't play the mark to herself. Definitely a mark. She connects with Thorogood on her wing. Winning that duel, I think, Thorogood. Rolled off, seems to have rolled off Ross and onto Wong. Thorogood to the top of 50. Some good work behind the ball allows McLennan to take an intercept mark at half back. Short one's chopped off beautifully by Hyder. This is good from Subiaco. East Fremantle can't penetrate the defensive zone at the moment. Is that Cortland with the footy? Long ball in. Hunt or Derrick. Derrick in nearly over the back, but it was O'Donnell doing the work in front. Derrick picks up the footy, turns around. What will the goal umpire say? The crowd like it, and I reckon that went straight over the goal umpire's hat. Abby Derrick on the right foot. Very dangerous behind the ball.
She's been thrown forward from the look of it, Derrick. Sometimes she's used across the half back or half forward line to try and get that ball over sort of the set structures, and in this instance she's been sort of camped forward in the goal square the last couple of entries, and this time just really strong body, strong and through the hips, able to push away from the contest and give herself space to snap that around and finishes beautifully.
It's darkening here at Leederville. Still dead still, nice and warm. Lights might have to go on. 3 goals, 3 Subiaco. They've added 1 goal, 2 this quarter so far. They've been inside forward 50 5 times, so their shot ratio's right up. The coach will be happy, Michael Farmer. Former TM here, Farms. It's in the hands of Birchall. Liked her today, running onto it beautifully. The far side, this is another good build-up. Amy Hunt at the back. Called her Sam twice today. Do know her, Sam Hunt, but she doesn't play full forward for Subiaco. Well done, Amy Hunt.
And again, call it with the entry. She seems to really lifted for mine today, whether Farmer's had a word with her throughout the week as to what sort of job and specific needs he needed from her. But from watching last week and then through to this week, I feel like she seems to be much more confident with the way she's bursting through and then making the first choice and just going with it.
Certainly putting some speed on the ball, isn't she? Mahara Camo, at the bottom of the pack, tackled by 2 Sharks. Have you seen the game today from Burton, Ella?
I feel like she's had the impact we saw when she first played. I think round 3 was her injury. So Quayle will probably be happy with her game.
Certainly proving troublesome for Subiaco. Filacamo takes the ball off the bottom of the pack. She pulls the ball around the corner and she's got another one. That was a long one. I think she was just trying to attack the top of the square, but she got all of it. It's wonderful to see a smile on her face after what happened versus East Fremantle in 2020. And she's just starting to have a real impact on this game.
Well, I don't think she'd really be known for kicking a long ball. Usually it's a shorter ball. She looks for chip kicks and people just in sort of cuter little release kicks. This time she, as you said, just threw it on the boot, trying to get it through to the top of the square. And I think it was Hunt again, really good presence of mind as the full forward, just making sure she could shepherd that through and give it the clear path to goal. But you can see from the players there, the reaction. It's not a known thing for her to be on the goal list.
I'm having a second look at that. I think that was a shot. The other thing she's not known for is smiling
No,
during games of
that
footy.
doesn't happen. I don't think that happens anytime, does it?
Definitely had a smile on her face. Then she kicked it all to 40. It was a wonderful strike, and Subiaco out by 2. We're back in the centre again. We're going forward through Cortland one more time, or is that Birchall this time? Down towards half forward. It's Poxidio working really hard. The forward 50. That's Dowrick coming out to meet. It's Prentice. Goes through her. Hunt's in the hands of Hunt. Trying to mount an exit now. East Fremantle. Pressure there from Amy Hunt was very good as East Fremantle trying to exit. Clean hands from Maddie Ross below her knees. Gives it to the runner in Prentice. Maddie Ross has to go in there and fight again. She's just taken a jumper on the way through and a professional free kick from a good play for East Fremantle, Madeline Ross. Stands the mark now. You can hear the instructions from the bench. Haven't quite worked out which bench that is. It's Cortland again to Ortlip. Showing the footy off now, and Ortlip's going to run onto this goal. Can she bend it around the corner in her 150th? She gets it a bit shallow. It's a couple of pats on the back from an East Fremantle friend over there. And Subiaco all of a sudden look very, very potent. You see the perimeter they've set up here. Can't see that on our screen, but you can see Claire Ortlip there imposing herself on this game. 150 games for this club. Subiaco, a lot of those as a Titan, of course. This ball from East Fremantle to the top of 50 in the hands of Birchall. She's stripped of it by Wong. Sanders, a long kick in. Perimeter defence has been okay for Subi. Cowie lets this bounce. Walker. Handball across was good to Harkin. 3 quality players in the last line. And Ritchie finds the ball in the centre of the ground, the ruckman. Beatrice Devlin lurking dangerously. She's a long kick too. White Cortlet, she can get it going. That's a good catch in front. The kick intended for Hunt. She couldn't find it. But Devlin's worked herself around. She's got a running shot. We just talked about how dangerous she is on the run and how long her kick is, and she just drops it as easy as you like from 37 metres out. And all of a sudden, all the work in front of East Fremantle, because it's now a 4-goal quarter.
East Ferro definitely need a goal in the next few minutes to keep them in the game. Subiaco's just run with it. They've dominated the first few minutes of the game.
Could even be a 3-goal quarter rather than a 4-goal quarter.
Yeah, probably.
I'm not predicting the future here. Just trying to call
Carry
what
the
we
one
see.
and all that sort of stuff. What it says to me, though, Filicamo's goal and then that from Devlin, is that Subi aren't overusing the ball. They're taking the first option on instinct and putting it on the boot and actually backing it. Like I commented with Lara that I haven't seen her really kick 40 metres. She's looked for shorter stuff. It shows she can do it. Devlin, we knew, has a longer kick, and it does show that sometimes you just got to take the first option at footy, and it's usually the right one.
Maddie Ross trying to get out the front door for East Fremantle. McLennan does get out the front door now. Caitlin Walker will lead Riley to this footy. Riley will put the pressure on. Don't worry about that. Back feed to Cowie. Brings Wong into the game. Wong's able to stand up in the tackle. Did see from the box here, the 4 of us up in the box, we saw that Devlin did that wraparound run and then she went to the open side and she didn't attract an opponent at any stage, and she needs a little bit more respect than that, Devlin. Such a dangerous player around goal. This is Cowie. Trying to clear the footy, but Sanders forced to stand under it. Brown attacks her. It's Talisha Brown. A couple of Browns out there, one for each side. That's Devlin again. Kick charge down nicely. She repeats the effort. This time she gets the ball over. Cortland in front of this, but marking behind is race, and she plays on quickly, and the ball's back inside forward 50, but only. Oh, the 2 Subi players crash into each other. Wong runs onto it. Kicked around the corners, Riley. Smothered, unfortunately, by McLennan. And that's going to sting. That's a Falcon from a half a step, and Chloe Riley's got a 47-metre kick. And she kicked it with all of her might.
That's a team fine, surely.
Yes. Well, that's the thing, is she's going to ask for an apology from Chloe Riley, but knowing Chloe Riley, she's going to say, you owe me one, because that was a goal. You put your head in the way. Devlin.
I don't think she's kicked it cleaner, has she?
she flushed that. That is Burton trying to surge the ball forward. And it's Thorogood who takes the intercept, or as a resultant free kick. Ball in the hands of Harkin. Netball superstar, Jiu-Jitsu champion. Harkin playing a trade in footy. Talk about talented female athletes. What can't she do? Tia Toth steps inside McLennan. I think it was her that took it on the ear, so it's good to see her up and about. To check her reaction time though. So a hit like that can Got a lasting impression. It's Cortlet again, and she used the left really well. Hunt presents, but she can't complete the catch. She's left Versace behind. Versace's got that cork, of course, but she's good enough to come and put some pressure on. And you can see that thigh strapped up. Hunt trying to expose her on the lead. There's no doubt every time she flexes that leg around that cork, she'll be feeling it. Kick may be affected by that. It's in the hands of Filacamo. And Filacamo just turns around in a phone box and finds Jess Ritchie. Is Jess Ritchie good enough in such tight space too to play her down behind the footy? You can see what happened there. It's Talisha Brown's got the footy ahead. Hunt's got the box seat here. She takes it on the chest. Versace couldn't quite make it up. The handball over the top to Brown, and Brown's able to kick a goal, and Subiaco are all over East Fremantle in the third quarter. Now they're 4 goals. I can tell the future.
And unfortunately for East Freo, Dalton, I think it might be, who just twisted again over the knee. That's 2 potential knee injuries this game, one to Subiaco and one now to East Freo. Just been clutching that, so it might be a dislocation as she did it. So that's not good news for East Freo. And they also, we had a bit of a jovial laugh at the kick to the back of the head, but the ruck, who's been so impressive today, McLennan, she made her way off the bench and was actually sort of being assisted by the trainer, so looked a bit wobbly on her feet as well, which is never good. We did make light of it, as I said, because there's a comedy element to it, but not when it comes to a heady shoot.
Is that Poxidio's goal?
Yes, Hunt went through the hands to Poxidio.
I think I called it Brown on the far side. Definitely Poxidio. So she's got one this quarter. Darrick's got one. Devlin's got one. Filacamo's got one. Poxidio's got one. It's a 4-goal 2 lead. Subiaco 6-3-39 to 1:13. The clock has stopped with 2 minutes 19 to play as Dalton makes her way off the ground, and unfortunately, from the look of her face, having done a couple of them myself, one hurt more than anything else I've ever had in my life, and one didn't hurt at all, and one that hurt, I think my face might have looked like that a little. Yeah. Not as pretty, of course.
It's sort of 2 different ways, isn't it? You can sometimes twist, and as you said, that just the ligaments snap, and once they snap, there's actually no feeling there, so it's a bit of a strange injury. But then there's the other sort that's the real force through the twisting motion, often comes with a bit of a dislocation, other ligaments involved, and that one bleeds and tears and is a bit more painful. That's the one I've had as well, and I guarantee my face was very, very similar. It's just never a good one. I have this theory that if you play sport of any sort, go for a run, riding your bike, all that sort of stuff, there should be this bubble around you to keep you safe from injury, because you're trying to do the right thing and be involved in things that are good for you.
That's right. You don't want to see people hurt doing
things
that, apart from the team element and the time element, just like to be rewarded for staying fit and healthy and joining in within the community.
Correct.
Hopefully for Dalton, that's a twisted knee. It's 4 to 6 weeks for her and the Sharkies. And the ruck again, Hyder. She's been okay today too. Been good at this part of the game here. She gets another surge kick forward. Her follow-up in the ruck is very good. Trying to find this ball below her knees and doing well was O'Donnell. Good ball down. Provides an opportunity for Ross, who's very aware of Devlin. She dived on that footy to try and track or stop her run. That is Hyder again to Toth, kicking the ball over to the far side of the ground, back to Hyder. Little kick forward, suits Darrick. She's dangerous here. The feed off's okay too. The kick around the corner comes, but it's a bit shallow. And that is Foley missing to the close side. Had a little bit more time maybe.
Yeah, just a little bit more time to settle. The build-up was really good from Subiaco once again. Hyder, you just started to mention, just her follow-up work. She's filling in there in the ruck, but she follows through, very fit. Actually swum the Rottnest swim earlier in the year in a team. So came back into this season, as fit as she's been for years and years.
Having an impact, that's for sure. Maybe putting her hand up for some midfield duties in the future. I think it was Prentice who found Sanders. East Fremantle now on the far wing, defending, trying to exit their defence. Long kick-in's okay. Riley's had to stand under a few high ones today. Under pressure for Lacamo. Little toe poke in the path of Ortlip was good. She burns a runner. Birchall to go longer to Hunt. Why not? Hunt's off the chain at the moment. Devlin wraps up Maddie Ross, who's got the long sleeves on again today.
This is where it starts to get difficult for all the players, but at the moment, especially East Fremantle. We know Subi have been down 1 interchange because of the injury earlier to Blackmore, but now East Free are potentially 2 players down, 1 playing with a corked thigh that's going to be restricting her. So mentally, you just got to find a way to push through, don't you, Ella?
Yeah, push through and hopefully get some scores on the board.
Scoring's dried up for East Fremantle at the moment. It'll be something for Simon Quayle to address at 3/4 time. Message always is from the coaches, if they can do it, we can too. It's got to be clean. Sharkies defending. Last couple of seconds this quarter, really only Subi's chance. 9 seconds. Ball's just got to bounce around here for East Fremantle fans. Just await the siren, of course. Slightly delayed quarter due to the injury stoppage times. We don't have an accurate time at the moment. A couple of seconds out on the scoreboard and a couple of seconds. I reckon we were bang on time here with front row screens. Just had to wait for the timekeeper to catch up. It's all a bit of confusion because there's no time on except for injury time, and you've got to make sure you see when the umpires call that, and you can't stop the clock before they do. Impressive quarter from Subiaco. 4 goals scored. East Fremantle didn't bother the scorers in the third quarter. And it's been something that's happened to East Fremantle a couple of times this year where they've gone scoreless in a quarter.
Yeah, East Freo just hopefully look to, Quayle will probably tell them, look forward, bang it on into the forward line so we can get some goals, but definitely have gone in the past with scoreless quarters. Just how they react now is going to be whether they win or lose the game.
8 individual goal scorers in this game. 2 for the East Fremantle Sharks. 1 to Sharon Wong very early in the first quarter. In the second quarter also very early. Naja Brown for the Lions. It's Walters, Hunt, Darrick, Devlin, Filacamo, and the last one there to Poc Sidio. They've all got the singles, so it is 6 goals, 440, 2 goals, 113 here at Leederville Oval. 3/4 time for front row screens. We're going to go have a break, back to wrap up the third quarter, and have a bit of chat about what's going to happen in the last.
Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple. Sometimes it's easy to just go with who you know. So here's what you need to know about Simply Energy. We're proud supporters of WA Footy. You can get 50% off our gas usage charges when you pay on time, and with service that's hard to beat, we make switching simple.
It's all in front of East Fremantle here, and they cannot afford to let this one slip. They will be 2 games behind 4th position with Subiaco. And Subiaco have timed their form very well in terms of season 2021. 6 goals, 541 to 2 goals, 113. Some wrapping up that third quarter and then having a look at what you think is going to happen in the fourth, I guess. Jen and Ella?
Yeah, well, I think for Subiaco, that's their best quarter of this game. They had a huge win, confidence-building win last week against Claremont. So to win against the side listed above you in the table, always very confidence-building. And I think that third quarter was the way that they want to play going forward. You just saw, as I sort of said, they took first options. They had their patterns set up, so they knew they could kick to space and that someone would actually run a predictable line and get there, and that, to keep East Freo scoreless with that sort of relentless pressure. I think they'll be really sort of ramming home that idea in their huddle right now of, right, we've just shown us the blueprint. We know how we play when we're doing it well. Let's do it for another quarter in a row, which to me spells trouble for East Freo, who have had, a huge blow now with Dalton going out with what we think will be a pretty serious injury, and she's one of their avenues to goal. So at this point in time, I think East Freo, the puzzle pieces, there's more missing for them at the moment.
Yeah, Subiaco in that quarter was very more composed when going into their forward line, which we talked about at three-quarter time. With East Freo, I feel like they just need to use their run and carry more. Go spread it wide, because Subiaco are a very tall team, fast team, and if you put it in the air there, you're not going to get a contested mark.
Watching Amy Hunt there, leading and taking a catch, exposing perhaps Versace's injury and feeding that last goal to Poxidio, which did feel like a little nail in the coffin of East Fremantle's game, if not the repercussions on their season. Of course, 3 wins to the Sharkies in season 2021. Inaugural winner of the Premiership in WAFLW 1, and of course they won the last ever WAFL Premiership as well. A lot of the girls have got sporting little tattoos about the place after that. I think a bit of YTB. You tell us about the YTB tattoos on a couple of players. What's that all about?
Yeah, the boys. There's this little saying they have. I think it was like the majority of the backline players got it. It's like what they do when they say after they do something good, into the spoil or a good tackle.
I think they changed it, didn't they, to the backs?
Yeah, they did. It was originally the boys, and they the backs.
So I've spent the last 3 years teasing them. They got the boys tattooed on them.
Yeah.
Makes that back line of East Fremantle very, very snarky. Ellie Lampkin was the Premiership defensive coach in that year. And she didn't grab that tattoo. No, I think she dared everyone else to do it, and she went home early.
Oh, well played. That's well played. To set it up and then just walk away quietly. Oh, so, did I miss that, did I?
That's Ellie Lampkin. I think she's a 5-time Premiership player at the Coastal Titans. She's also played at Peel Thunder and East Fremantle. She's a Premiership coach at East Fremantle. This ball's kicked out by Prentice to Wong. Wong's gone to half forward. She's immediately tackled by Thorogood. Definitely running with Wong at this stage. Long ball in. That's a very good mark defensively from the judo champ in Harkin. Knows how to hit the mat. She finds Thorogood again. So this is what Thorogood's done well today. She's worked off her opponents, but she's got plenty of the footy herself, and she sets this up nicely to the defensive run of Subiaco. Calling the defence across. Ritchie. Okay there. A little whack on the hand potentially from Prentice, and Prentice has her head ripped off. Bit of a height difference. Jess Ritchie complaining about her sore elbow. Don't show the umpire that. It's just a little accident. Prentice with the resultant kick. East Fremantle only in the first couple of seconds this quarter. Walsh has come up one click, maybe to provide a taller target. Riley tries to find her way through. The handball was okay. Taken from her. It was intended for Fidel. Subi robbed it. Ashton Cowie's kick's a little wide. It's out of the full. And the umpire's just trying to figure out. It is out of the full. He's can't go to the replay, young man. So the umps gather the footy. Sanders will just go back and take her kick, I think. Umpire's called a throw in. Just seems to hurt you. I mean, you can't blame umpires for lack of forward 50 entries, but just as you're trying to build, you want a bit of help, and not help there on this occasion.
Yep.
Always feel a bit robbed when you're trying to work your way back into the game and you can't get the rub of the green. Just Ritchie this time taken high, and she'll get the resultant free kick, and it was fittingly Prentice that reached up and tapped her on the shoulder. Thorogood on the break. Caitlin Walker a little close to receive that handball. Defence was able to chop off. Sanders usually clever and thoughtful as a defender. Larkin wants this out of bounds. Better than this, it'll be Ritchie kicking the ball towards her player in Cortland, but intercepting here was O'Donnell. O'Donnell just taking her time to construct. The umpires moved her on now. Cortland charges the kick. As a result, slews off the side of the boot. Can't be grabbed by Walters. Gomes from Walsh. Kicks towards that hole again. Harkin's the champion. Unfortunately, Ross is flipped over and crashes into Versace. Riding the perimeter really well is Burton. Ella Riley It's her second game, Ella Riley tells us. She debuted earlier and she's been composed. It's a lovely ball into Versace, who's gone forward. Can't get a run because Ritchie was defending so well. In the hands of Toth, she tries to shrug the tackle from Brown. Can't get out of it. Riley joins in. And we end up with a bit of a rolling maul. And I'm sure all these girls could play that game too. 10 cricketers out there. We've got a wicketkeeper. We've got an Australian wicketkeeper in the box. State cricketers out there for both sides. Junior state rep, you said, Evie Gooch. So she's a state rep in Australian rules. Australian football, I should say. Cricket.
And soccer. Yeah.
Former Glory goalkeeper.
Now keeping us safe from fires.
Yes, that's an amazing thing too. She missed a game this year with the fires in the hills. She was a required person. And unfortunately, Sanders kicks this to the player on the mark, which is Filacamo. She immediately connects beautifully with Hyder. Standout game for Hyder. Haven't seen much of her, but I've been impressed with her today. Flying at the back was Darrick, famed for her kicking. Also a very penetrating handball. Fly was good. Darrick just trying to stretch the defence. Grayson, first to get there, but gets a horrible bounce. Brown tries to flash through, tries again, held up very well by Burton. There's stacks on at the moment too. A little flip out from O'Donnell's good to Racing. It was knocked after she kicked it, but it's okay. Going through there was Inglis, Hodge and Ritchie's getting stroppy. Not too much in that one, just good body contact. Not like a ruckman to get stroppy at different stages. Jen, Walker, Ross. Game breaking open for Ross. Handball to Spark. Haven't seen too much of her today. She runs around it, escorting the footy rather than attacking it. She kicks towards, or kicks defensively. It's Harkin. Caitlin Walker sort of running a little block, unfortunately tripped and was stepped on by Maddie Ross. Walker has got a set of size 9s or set of size 7s.
We were talking about tattoos earlier. I think she might have the imprint of the boot on her lower back.
Maddie Ross is one of the more caring people I've had the opportunity to work with. She's been with the State Academy program as a physio. Very caring human being, flashing through. Filacamo, very good. Finds Hyder. Can't quite gather this. Her second efforts have been good today, and her third effort's just as good. If this can sit, you'll see something special here. Hyder gathers in her left hand. Reels across to her right foot. Trying to stretch the defence here, but sitting in the right spot there was Bet. She's got her hands full now with Amy Hunt. Both players content to have a ball up inside defensive and forward 50 respectively. Filacamo putting some speed on the ball in midfield.
She's been really good today, the way she has come through in and under, getting into those stoppages and coming out with clean ball and just getting that immediate surge forward that Subiaco are after. She's the one starting it each time.
A slim tackle on defensive 50 for East Fremantle. Just a bit vigorous from Darrick. It's Prentice. Prentice is one of these people with the beautiful hair that have their ponytail over their number, just to make things more interesting. Looks to be on the far side, Burton.
Georgia Betts.
Georgia Betts. Sorry, I'm trying to call it from knee bandages, but that's the young player, Georgia Betts. Tips this over. It's been intercepted on the far side by Birchall. Birchall's short kick's a good one. Finds Darrick, and Darrick's in range here. She's walked around, long ball in. She's just trying to favour Cortlet. Cortlet's sitting in the box, and she takes it in the bread basket, uncontested. And I guess that's the strength of being able to kick the ball 15 metres more than most players in the competition. You can get the ball to carry.
Cortlet just read the drop of that ball and protected that zone so well.
Deserves a goal. Cortlet, less convincing than others, but that is a snagger. It doesn't matter how they look, they're 6 points.
From East Row, as a coach, you'd be questioning why was she left unmanned in the goal square?
It's interesting to see. That's a good call, Ella, but where did she come from to get there? Did she come from the forward line or out of the midfield group? Trying to get that read for you now. She is playing as a forward. She's playing as a high forward, so she's slipped in behind the defence. The player that's marking her now has got her head down, trying not to claim her. I won't name her because defender's life's hard enough without getting called on by people sitting in the warmth of a commentary box.
But you can see from just that one step kick from Darrick, her ability to penetrate that 45-metre kick. Such a valuable asset in the women's game to have a player like that in your roster.
It's something that few players can do. Her system Kenzie Darrick does it. Hasn't played for a little while. She's on her way back from injury and illness. Another player that can do it is Michaela Morrison. Found herself on the Dockers list. Didn't play, but she just kicks the ball 10 metres further than people think. Breaks the game open. Stuart Dew used to do it back in the day. Kicking past opposition zones. Streaming through the middle. Richie sees this now. Could be Thorogood, has worked off her opponent again. She's got the ball in her hands. Little handball's okay. On to teammate who steps across the 50. She's in trouble now. She's done very well. Nearly connected with her forwards. East Fremantle up against it. Not sure she had the footy when she was tackled. The resultant free kick will be in the hands of Sky Prentice. She moves it on quickly to Sanders. Hasn't had the influence that she usually does. Mainly due to the slow ball movement of East Fremantle today. It's a really good kick to Chloe Riley, who's had to work well up the ground to connect with the defence. Riley's kick just drops short of Wong. Can't gather that below the knees. Thorogood can. She breaks the tackle, pops the handball over. A little unkind maybe, but she gets that away in time before the pressure came. And you can see a couple of tired players falling on this footy. The umpire is going to penalise the first on, which I think was Naja Brown. And get up too happy. Tia Toth at the top of 50 can't complete the catch. She's under pressure from Prentice. Sparks tries to run the kick down. Resultant goes high. Walsh reaches over. That's Rayson reaches over, then goes long and is able to find Prentice ahead of the ball. I say Spark, my apology. So Sparks worked up. The forwards are taking marks at half back. Jen, that means that there's nowhere to go with this kick.
Yeah, great defensive mark, but as you said, just then once you get the possession again, the next possession further down the ground, you look up, and because you've had to have such a defensive mentality, you just have no option but to wait and wait and wait and then just kick it to a contest.
It's Brown again trying to work through with Versace. Versace hindered by that cork, as you can see. Can't quite stride out. Ball taken out of the ruck and then tapped on the shoulder in the tackle. Inglis Hodge. Some fast ball movement now. Spark needs to take this mark. Can't quite get there. She's in trouble now because Cowie's read this well. Devlin approaches. Cowie can't find the handle. Sparks gives her a nudge. Former State 23's teammates, those two. Ball in the path of Darrick. Well corralled by Betts, but she does break through in the end. Long kick forward. Subiaco a chance again. The ball spills out for Hunt. Rayson with her. Hunt basketballs it to herself. She's going to go along the ground. How will it bounce? It sits up nicely. That's Poschetio that can't quite get there. In the hands of Rayson. He gets a little high one. She tries to get through this tackle. Umpire calls play on. Ball bouncing around the top of the goal square. Sam Hunt just picks it up and kicks a goal off the right foot. Great shape on the footy. And this game is beyond doubt with Hunt gets her second. So Hunt kicks a goal in the second quarter and the last. 8 goals, 5. Subiaco now lead East Fremantle 2 goals, 1. They haven't moved their score on since early in the second quarter.
It was tough going just then for East Freo, wasn't it? They were just under that really intense forward pressure from Subiaco. And you could see the blue of Freo just desperately trying to work their way through with handballs. It then would hit the ground. They'd sort of get it again, and just more numbers of Subiaco felt was there. And even just that perceived pressure, I think, is now there on East Fremantle's decision-making.
Subiaco knew exactly where the goals were going to be.
Yeah.
Fulacamo, seen that a few times. Traps the footy, jumps up, goes to the other side. Everyone's expecting her to go. Ball forward. Subiaco again. Overhead's neat by Birchall. She steps inside because her opponent has fallen over with the pressure of trying to catch up. Rayson leads the race back. It's a little shove from her opponent, but she's good enough to shovel this ball over. And that was Hyder looking to do what Courtler did earlier, which was to end a decent game of footy, personally, with a snag up. Talking to snaggers, coaching yesterday. 20 minutes before game time, one of my players had a sausage roll. It took me back.
Did they have a good game?
He was very good.
So that's going to be a routine now. You're in trouble.
I actually think it might be his normal routine. Playing deep forward and didn't leave the box. But it took me back to my playing days in the bush. Not too many flattering stories that I've got. plays on in front of the mark. The umpire will hold this up. It's a good idea. It's just against the rules. That's Birchall. Why not have a go?
You saw Ross get up thinking, oh, come on, you can't do that.
But please. I don't want to watch the video where you're allowed that. Mandy Ross.
Does Ross always wear the long sleeves?
She can change. Well, you can answer this one. I was watching her last week.
Last week she wore her long sleeves, but a couple of weeks ago I think she made the change.
She actually took her long sleeves off in the second quarter, and I think last week she put them back on in the fourth. And even if I made that up, that's a good story.
I'm here for it. I love a long sleeve story.
Yeah, not many run the long sleeves. Beatrice Devlin picks this ball up, end over end. Rayson takes the catch in the square, and Hunt will have to come back to the 9. Remember those days when you used to get pressed on the goal line? Not much you could do as a fullback with the ball on the line. Walters intercepting. Riley working hard up the ground again. Tries to kick this in, does well. Nearly convinced the umpire. It was definitely out.
Oh.
In the spirit of the game, I would love to see Chloe Riley get a run on there.
Yeah.
To still have that pace coming through deep in the last quarter of this match, and it has been a physical contest today as well, and the East Freo players are now obviously quite fatigued, but it was exciting. Unfortunately called back, but
yeah, it's like when you in a junior footy game, the umpire calls the kids for running too far. Let them go. Let them bounce it 6 times. Good fun. Devlin going through his apprentice, held up nicely. 4 minutes to play. This one's done and dusted, has been for a little while now. East Fremantle give themselves a tick for effort. It's a little untidy in defence at times as Birchall takes this off hands, goes long. Rayson has been asked to do some really mature things I think she might be 15 years of age, turning 16 this year. Playing league footy. She's been asked to do some really adult things today. Has been very good.
Impressive.
Thorough good again, speaking of impressive. Unloads Wong, the back feed is good. Connecting with this one's O'Donnell. She plays on quickly. Nothing to lose now, Prentice. Gomes. Steps inside, gets picked off by Devlin, unfortunately. Had to go back to Prentice. Just trying to create. There's not a whole lot ahead, so that's why there's delay on the East Fremantle run. The Devlin kick's good. Force for Ortlep. She's been moved forward by Farmer, so she can get a goal in her 150th. It'd be fitting for such a good player. Hunt takes it off hands and does a little drop kick, and that's worth 9. Masters footy, a drop kick's worth 9. I think it'll count as 6 here. Just check with the scorers. She's the only multiple goal scorer in the game, and she's now got 3.
just again, really good presence of mind as that tallest forward. Good bit of physical body work as the ball bounced up high. The defender was in a sort of, I suppose, a fairly vulnerable position, arms up above the head, having to land and come back down, and just letting her do so, and then attacking with the tackle. Good little toe poke through.
It was a little, just got the old eyes to thighs and dug in. She just dug into that hip of her opponent and was able to get that kick away. Very clever, crafty forward Hunt.
She's been a good target all day for them, hasn't she? Really worked hard on her leads. I think that's been the change I've seen today from maybe previous weeks.
The way she's played today, I think she could be a very good forward at WAFLW level. This ball's kicked out of the pack by Brown. In the hands of Brown, tackled by Brown. They're on different sides, no relation. Dowrick, tumble punt towards Hunt, doesn't go too far, result in tackle pressure. Feeds this one off Inglis Hodge. Now she pulls in a pressure ball. It's all up just in the box. She can't quite get there. Walters running on with Gomes. Walters gathers it up. She's held in the tackle a little bit. Ball's kicked away by Burton. Ross is 2-on-1. Hyder with Thorogood. Ross 2-on-1's done well.
Done very well,
Two
Ross.
or three efforts. Doesn't have any friends to help her out though, unfortunately. So the ball might be going back in. It's in the path of Toth. She has time to wear that one across the eye. This is Brown to Ortlep, Claire Ortlep. She should take a shot. She does. 150 games and a sausage in it. Subiaco going to have a great evening tonight celebrating that lady's game, her career so far, and of course a huge win over East Fremantle here at Subiaco's home ground. Leadable stadium with front row screens this quarter from West Coast Eagles. And it's impressive.
Well, some would say then that Michael Farmer as coach, he's got a bit of theatre in him, I think. He's got the emotion of the moment. The lead's well and truly in hand. Thrown Ortlep forward in a milestone game. And now we've got that highlight for us. So, maybe got a bit of emotion in him, the big man.
He certainly does. He's a very good game rap. I've known Farms for quite a number of years, and his Monday raps are terrific. They can be very humorous. He does have a flair for the dramatic.
Yeah, I like the sense of theatre that was just come to us there. So thanks, Farms.
Claire Ortlap in a milestone game gets a rare treat. Of course, she's a decent midfielder too, Claire, as Subiaco heading forward again. East Fremantle just weight of numbers here and pressure. As the siren sounds to end, a good game for Subiaco. Promised to be a very, very entertaining, hard-fought clash. And I think the scoreboard represents more of Subiaco's efficiency rather than the two teams' efforts. I don't know if you agree with me on that, Ella.
I agree. East Freo in defence tried hard and hard over again and just didn't get the reward moving up into the forward line.
I think Jen said it in the first game. Subiaco trying to get as many looks as they possibly can, and perhaps East Fremantle didn't get as many looks as they needed.
Yeah, I think, well, it was a tale of two halves, wasn't it? The first half was quite close, but we all had this sense that Subiaco had a bit more possession and were sort of getting it inside 50 a bit more often, but East Freo were able to repel that. The second half, Subiaco sort of played the same way, but just took slightly better options instead of the hurried option in. And all of a sudden, everything started to connect for them. Obviously, their pressure in defence was relentless. To keep a side scoreless for 2 quarters is very, very impressive and can't get taken away from it. It's such a good... to know that you've got a backline like that you can build upon and then have that foundation to surge forward and then get the run. Like that third quarter, I think it was 4 goals, 4 behinds. Big scoring third quarter for Subiaco, and that really changed the game into their way. And, you know, they ran away with it in the end, a very dominating win. But a very hard-fought contest throughout anyway.
Totally agree with all of those sentiments. Subiaco were undeniable in that second half. And I think it was Coach Riley that called Subiaco to compose themselves while going forward and to maybe short it before going long, and they certainly did that. Yeah. East Fremantle, unfortunately, just couldn't play the game in their own half, and as we all know, any invasion game you play, it's far easier to play in your half than theirs. Footy being one of the biggest, or being the biggest team sport and the biggest surface area sport, even more so. You need to play in your own half because it makes the game easier. You need to be looking and defending faces, and chasing clean sets of heels is always a harder way to play. Just watching the huddle here. This tradition faltered potentially in 2019. It's back strongly. Wrap up together and just keep camaraderie alive. Men's teams don't acknowledge each other like they used to. Women's footy's played in a spirit, I think, that really does sum up how footy should be played. I love the way they play hard, they play fair, they all know each other as a rule. Most of them have played association footy, representing footy together. Of course, in a 6-team competition, you do see each other quite often. Battle hard against your mates, and then you help them up off the ground once you've knocked them over, and then lots of smiles. I often see players from one team run around trying to get a high five out of the other team once the goal's been kicked. We see Subiaco head into their photo. I assume this is a little treat for Claire Ortlap. Goal kicks today, Sharon Wong and Nadia Brown got the 2 for the Sharks. Walters and Hunt. Walters got 1, Hunt ended up with 3, 1 in the second, 2 in the last. Darrick in the third quarter, Devlin, Filacamo and Poxidio. That was the premiership quarter, wasn't it? 4 snags in a quarter there. 3 in the last, 1 to Cortland and 2 to Hunt to add to her total, or to give her the leading goal kicker of the day with 3 snags. Very, very impressive win from Subiaco. Very impressive call on debut from Ella Riley. And Jen Wallace, Reggie and I get to call these week to week, but I think we might extend the invitation to you to keep coming. Really add some professionalism and real colour and insight to the call. We're going inside the huddle here for the song. Still hear the crowd chattering away in the FX mic. I actually haven't spotted where the FX mic is. Here's the song. game, of course, without their skipper. They'll come back in a couple of weeks' time, just in time for the finals. This game, 10-6-66, an important one in the context of the season. Something to take away from East Fremantle.
I think for East Fremantle, their first half, especially their first quarter, if they can go away under review and look at what they did well in those moments, as we see Ortlook getting chaired off here from Harkin and
she's not particularly
Hunt.
confident.
No, she's not trusting them, is she? I think Sarah, Jamie Russ is there holding up from the back in case, so not a lot of trust exercise done there. So back to East Fremantle, I think that it was, as I said at the very beginning, it was a finals game because these two teams are battling off for that fourth position, and I think they could go on review and go, look, they're missing some AFLW talent, of course. A couple of injuries do not help when that comes through, but the way they were able to repel a lot of things through defence is always a good foundation to build on. And Wong and Ross, they were quick and they were dangerous. They just didn't get enough of the ball from the second half. They need to get the ball in the hands of the blue shirts more often.
Best players, Ella. Who'd you like on the day?
For Subiaco, I think Hunt with her 3 goals it was, unstoppable. Claire, she had a great game. And to get that goal in the end was a great reward for her. I feel like in the ruck, they just won everything. For East Freo, I think Wrong was impactful in the first half, and then in the second half, I think she got tagged.
Yep.
She didn't have that same impact.
Rayson was excellent in defence, yep.
And then I feel like Paisley stepped up in the ruck in the last when our ruck got a head knock and was strong in back.
Well done. Great call from you two today. Very fortunate to have Jen Wallace in the box, Ella Riley on debut. She'll get an invite back to the production team from Front Row Screens. As always, super professional and done a great job promoting the great game of WAFLW, the great competition WAFLW, and watching our best ladies trip the light fantastic each and every Saturday afternoon. As you see some of these highlights, it just go to show how good some footy is played in this competition. From me, it's been terrific. 10-6-66, 2-1-13. It's always a pleasure to make this call. Last thing I'll say is I reckon Subiaco have unleashed something here in Holly Hyder. We'll be back with Front Row Screens next week on our weekly call. Thanks to everyone down in the truck, to Paul up here in the box as well, to Jen Wallace and to Ella Riley. Thank you very much. We'll catch you next week.
This WAFLW live stream is brought to you by Optus, proud partner of the WAFL and WAFLW. The West Coast Eagles, supporting WA female footballers to follow their dreams. Kia, proud partner of the WAFLW. This is Kia. Simply Energy, supporting WA Footy's talent pathway.